Welcome to The Craft. This is a special edition First 100 Songs podcast. These are the chapters from the audiobook that I've made free for everyone. We'll cover how to write your first 100 songs and what that takes. What I'm about to share with you are the big lessons I learned along the way to writing my first 100 songs and releasing many of them, and I hope they help you. I've created these special edition episodes with a few chapters in each 30-ish minute episode, so make sure to hit subscribe to get the next episode delivered to you. Enjoy. First 100 Songs. How to create and release your first 100 songs on Spotify and iTunes by Jonathon Vogel. Narrated by Jonathon Vogel. To my 15-year-old self, you made it. To those that think different, to the creators and artists trying to find their way, to my wife and kids. Do or do not, there is no try. Yoda from Star Wars. Why you should read this book. This book is the guide I needed when I started out writing and releasing songs. By the end of this book, you'll know a proven way to write your first 100 songs, how I record songs using only 5 pieces of gear, how I edit and mix songs to sound similar next to my favorite artists on a playlist, how I fully automate publishing my music, how I accurately figure out copyright and royalties in just a few minutes. Why trust me? My name is Jonathon Vogel. I've written hundreds of songs and released many of them on major platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. I've played hundreds of gigs all over Canada and the US. My music is listened to in 20 countries. Don't trust me yet. My goal is to build trust with you and give you as much value as possible. You get to decide by the end of this book if I do that. My only ask is that you give this book a chance, and if you think it might help someone you know, share this book with them. My promise to you is that you will create and release your first 100 songs in as little time and money as possible if you follow this book. I will do my very best to give you everything I learned creating my first 100 songs. My hope is that this book gives you the tools you need to eliminate writer's block, guarantee your songs will sound good, overcome anxiety or fear of the unknown, remove the mystery around what gear you need and how to use it, how to not let people's opinions get to you, become a competent songwriter, become a published artist on Spotify and Apple Music and many other platforms. Imagine writing the songs you want to write, living a life you want to live, and doing the things you want to do. This book is a roadmap for the people that want to make progress in their musical journey to become a competent songwriter. Pro tip: I found that I can learn twice as fast when I listen and read at the same time. You can get for free or at cost access to the ebook version of this book on Amazon or at jonathonvogel.com. Section 1. Step 1. Make your song. First, get others to create your song for you. This costs the most money and the least amount of time. If you can't, do the work you can and get others to help you in ways you suck. If you are a, quote, starving artist, end quote, do it yourself. This costs the least money and the most time. If this is you, you need to know and do what's required to get what you want. This book documents how I write hundreds of songs and release many of them in the least amount of money and time. If that's what you want, keep reading. Chapter 1. The Bulletproof Songwriting System. Don't wait for inspiration, it comes while working. Henry Matisse. When you take out your garbage, you need patience. It takes work. If the garbage bag rips, it scatters and stains your carpet. If it's windy, your yard is a mess. In music, your first 100 songs you write or 100 hours of practice will suck. Your garbage is the music you create when you have no skill or talent. You must practice until you see progress. Progress is evidence of how much you don't suck. You suck until you don't. Period. The only way I know to not suck the fastest is consistent practice over a long period of time. The Garbage Maker. 0 to 20 hours. You suck and feel sucky. The Noob. 21 to 100 hours. You suck and feel confident. The Amateur. 101 to 10,000 hours. You start to not suck and realize the gap between you and not sucking. The Pro. 10,001 plus hours. People tell you you don't suck and you feel competent sometimes. You can level up quickly from garbage maker to amateur within a short period of time. Many people do this. This book helps you do that faster and with a strong foundation for the next journey from amateur to pro. Becoming a pro is for another book. Pro tip. When people say you don't suck, you're on the right track. Don't ask them what they think. Amateur move. Ask the right people for feedback. Professional move. The right people are one step closer to getting what they want than you are. Give yourself permission to suck. You will suck. Accept it. Until you don't suck, the stuff you create is garbage. Get your garbage out. If your creative garbage is meaningful, i.e. your first song, a cool riff, old recordings, etc., keep it. It's evidence of your progress. Evidence shows you your progress to not sucking. Get evidence by documenting what you create. Document every piece of music you create. You forget what you don't document or repeat. Some people's brains are great at recreating. Some people have a great memory. For me, I have to repeat things to remember. This uses brain space. I prefer to document instead. I document to have more brain space to create. This helps me get my garbage out faster. Write 100 songs. Write your first 100 songs. Go all in. Do more for a long time. For example, writing one song per day would take about 3 months or 100 days. 10 to 15 minutes is all it takes to start. But how do you know a song is complete? Here's what I consider a full song. Anything less is only half written. Write at least 4 song sections. For example, 1 chorus, 2 verses and a bridge, or 3 verses and a chorus. Use a pen and paper or a note app to capture lyrics. Record a memo of you playing and singing the whole song. Document so you can relearn the song the way you wrote it if you forget. If you can't sing and play at the same time, get help from a friend or use digital sounds. If you have no tech, notate the chords or classical sheet music for melody and instruments. Quick note. I've tried many writing tools and recording methods. My favorites are Apple Notes for lyrics and Apple Voice Memos for recordings. For other device users, I like Simple Note and Dolby On. I like MuseScore for classical sheet music. Jam, lyric, groove. Write songs when you feel like it. When you don't feel like it, write anyway. That's how you improve. To help me stay consistent, I like writing in sprints of 30 to 90 days. You can't use a lack of ideas or inspiration as an excuse to not write. I use the 100x tools in this book to keep me writing when I get stuck. Use them anytime. You now have no excuses. Jam. When I sit down to write, my process usually starts with some chords or a melody. I find the music first. This way makes a better end result for me. I look for a pattern or recipe of chords I like. Sometimes I have a tune in my head. Sometimes I start with nothing in mind. It doesn't matter. I have to like what I come up with before the next step. I don't give myself rules either. Sometimes I play for a few seconds and run out the rest in my head while starting to write lyrics. Sometimes I record a verse and chorus with no lyrics. With gear, I sometimes record a whole song before writing lyrics. There's no one way to do this. Find what works best and feels natural to you. I create music until I want to write lyrics to it. That's it. Quick note. I make instrumental music the same way. I jam until I have a long enough section to record. Sometimes I record small parts I like while jamming to not forget. Lyric. Once I have music to work with, I hum or sing in gibberish until I find words and melodies that fit. I document what I like. I edit the words until they feel right. I test out the result by playing again. I continue until I have a complete song with 4 parts, verse, bridge, chorus, etc. I permit myself to write without rules. My writing style changes. Sometimes I have a direction for the lyrics. Sometimes I take a different direction than when I started. I often show up to write without ideas or inspiration. If I'm starting with nothing to write about, I rely on my creativity or the 100x guides in this book to spark a direction. Groove. This step happens at the same time as jamming and writing lyrics. Adding groove to a song helps me make it catchy and memorable. I play with rhymes, rhythms, repeats, instruments, vocals, melody, harmony, dissonance, what doesn't sound good at first, effects, and anything else. There's no right or wrong way to groove a song. I do my best to match the lyrics to the music. The sky is the limit here. Rhymes, rhythms, repeats. I use rhymes and repeats a lot to make a song catchy. I use different rhythms to keep it interesting. Rhymes. I rhyme lyrics in two ways: real and similar. Real rhymes sound like hat and cat or try and high. I rhyme sounds, not spelling. If I hear a rhyme, it could work. Similar rhymes compare words like candy and fitting, or little and trouble. I pair words together I think sound good. Rhythms. It's magical when lyrics groove well to music. I tweak lyrics to match the beat, like Shivers by Ed Sheeran. Sometimes I place lyrics off beat, like Beautiful by Paul Simon. The right rhythm also depends on the song genre and your preference. Getting good at this takes time and practice. A good sign you're making progress is if the words start to flow out of you to the beat. Repeats. I want people humming my song all day. I measure how easy to sing and remember a song is by repeating melody, chords, lyrics, and song sections. It depends on what the song needs. A repetitive example is Blue Daba Dee by Eiffel 65. A non-repetitive example is Rocket Man by Elton John. Both approaches work. If you can't seem to write good stuff, you're not alone. Progress isn't about quality. It's about consistent quantity over a long time until your quality improves. Write even if you suck. You need the reps more than you think. You can't lose if you don't quit. Give it your all. You'll create what you didn't think possible. You got this. Play and sing. Writing songs and getting noticed is hard when you can't sing and play an instrument at the same time. It's not impossible, but harder to write songs and stand out. When I started, I sucked. My voice was off key. I couldn't play well, but I pressed on until I worked out my garbage and improved my skill. I learned instruments first, then took vocal lessons. I learned how to add both parts together over time using what I call the separation technique. I learned the separation technique from Chopin, a classical pianist from the 1800s. He composed songs using two different rhythms in the right and left hands that are hard to play at the same time. If you have low skill, you have to practice each hand alone first. When you put hands together, you learn to keep the rhythm in syncopation, or play accurate and on time. There's another easy example of this. Tap the top of your head with your right hand. Now rub your stomach clockwise with your left hand. Try it. Now rub your head and tap your stomach. Not as easy, right? Now switch hands. I call this mind separation. Singing and playing an instrument requires mind separation. Some people are natural at it, like 10-year-old Justin Bieber. For others, it takes a lifetime. I am somewhere in the middle. This means I improve with practicing over time. You can't replace the work you need to do to get the skill, but there's a few shortcuts you can take. Practice each part first. I learn faster when I practice my instrument first. I learn the parts and nuances I need without using brain space for mind separation. I'm ready when I know each part well. Add together. This can be easy or complex. I usually don't achieve playing and singing together right away. I practice small song sections together over and over until I get it right. The more skilled I am at my instrument and singing, the easier this process is. Don't get frustrated. Mind separation is hard at first. Sometimes the song I'm learning is above my skill level. I learn hard songs above my current skill level to improve the fastest. Hard song, fast improvement. Be patient. Mind separation can feel slow and backward. It gets easier the more you do it. I play and sing right away if mind separation isn't difficult. You can even play and sing a new song with mind separation all at once the more you practice. Mind separation is a skill you can train for. It's a huge level up if you know how to use it. Some songs don't use much mind separation when you are starting. Some do. Getting good at mind separation is a lifetime of practice. Practice mind separation until you don't suck at it. We've covered 3 skills so far: getting garbage out, write 100 songs, play and sing. These 3 skills are all you need to write your first 100 songs. This is the Bulletproof songwriting system. Next, you need to build a home studio to record your hard work. I hope you're enjoying this book right now. If you don't know this, the mission of what I do at jonathonvogel.com is to make music creation accessible for everyone. And the only way I can reach everyone is if you choose to share this. Please ship this to a friend if you find value and are getting value out of these episodes and chapters. Just click the button to share and subscribe. Send it to somebody. Share it on your stories. Share it in your social media. Leave a review on Amazon. It would mean the world to me. And you'd be helping someone else who needs this information. If you do that now, it would mean a lot. Chapter 2. Busy Person Gear Guide. Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour. John Haywood. There are 5 things that make a home studio. Everything else is extra and not necessary. Number 1, mic. Number 2, headphones. Number 3, computer. Number 4, DAW. Number 5, audio interface. I'll explain what each thing is and recommend a list of gear for each brand I use. Microphones. A mic, or microphone, captures sound. A mic plugs into a cord called a mic cable, or XLR. Some mics plug into your computer with a USB cord. Most USB mics have poorer sound quality than XLR mics. Most XLR mics record professional quality sound for music and podcasts. USB mics work for this purpose but are better suited for virtual calls and meetings. There are 2 mic types, stage, or dynamic, and studio, or condenser. Stage mics record in front of them. Use them live on stage. In a studio, use stage mics to record instruments and sometimes vocals. Studio mics record in more ways, front, back, and sides. Use them in a quiet, soundproof space. Use them for vocals and sometimes instruments. Mics also have different recording patterns. Unidirectional for recording in front, bidirectional for recording front and back, and omnidirectional for recording all sides. Headphones. Headphones, or loudspeakers, speakers for short, make sound. Headphones sit on your head. They cover your ears. You set speakers on your desk or shelf. Both connect to your phone or computer. You play any sound you want to hear. Music, podcasts, video, DAW. Wireless headphones are convenient but often struggle with delay or latency. Wired headphones have 0 delay or latency between what you record and what you hear. I use wired headphones to record. Get headphones first. You can't record with speakers on. Speakers and mics don't mix. They make feedback sounds. Use speakers to mix and master. Use headphones to record. Computer. You need certain features in your computer to work for a home studio. Anything more is a bonus. 8 GB of RAM, i7 Intel CPU or similar, M1 Apple Silicon for Mac, 2.5 GHz processor, 128 GB solid-state drive, and the OS, or the operating system, and DAW should be here, not a hard disk drive or external drive. USB port that matches the cord for your audio interface. I prefer laptops. They are portable and small. They make your studio mobile. Desktop or tower computers will work though if you don't need portability. DAW. A DAW, or digital audio workstation, is the software you use to record and edit sound. Some are free, but paid options tend to offer more value. Each DAW has a different layout and design, but the main concepts are the same. Find a DAW that works for you. I tested a few DAWs before finding my favorite, Ableton. Start free with Audacity or GarageBand, pay for Ableton, Pro Tools, Reaper, Soundtrap, others. I've listed more in the back of this book. Audio interface. An audio interface converts sound into a digital signal for a computer. Instruments and mics plug into it. A USB cord connects it to a computer. The computer sends the audio interface signal to your DAW. You then record or edit. The DAW sends that sound back to the interface to hear it in your headphones. Most audio interfaces record good sound. The hardware helps with this and might include knobs, lights, preamps, sound card, outer case. When I research for an audio interface to buy, I focus on the aesthetics and internals of the hardware. Aesthetics. Is it beautiful? Does it inspire me to use it? Audio interfaces are often visible in your studio. You use it almost every day when you record or produce. It becomes the new way you listen to audio on your computer. Internals. Does it record and convert high-quality sound? Does it add any poor quality noise? A preamp turns weak audio from your mic or instrument into a strong digital signal. Sound passes from the preamp to the sound card. The sound card converts raw audio to digital. Why tell you this? I make better buying decisions when I have a list of what to look for. Preamps, sound card, volume knobs, mic and instrument inputs, 48-volt phantom power. Some mics need this to turn on. Outputs for headphones or speakers. USB input for a USB cord to your computer. An audio interface does a lot. Some audio interfaces store recordings and some can't. Some plug into the wall if they are bigger, like 8 mic channels. Some are battery powered. Some need a computer to power on and a DAW to record. Look for audio interfaces that need a computer to work. Gear I use. I've used a lot of music gear. I split what I currently use, as of this writing, into 5 home studio categories below. This gear is good quality and stands the test of time for me. Mics. Shure SM7B. Shure SM58. Shure SM57. Focusrite CM25. Headphones and speakers. KRK Rocket 6 speakers, a pair. KRK KNS 8400 headphones. DAW. Ableton Live, GarageBand. Audio interface. Focusrite Scarlett, Focusrite Octoprix. Computer. Dell Latitude series laptops, Apple M series Macs. Figure out what gear you want and buy it. This can take time. I sped up saving and buying with a bundle. I like companies like Focusrite.com that sell a full home studio bundles for less than $500. All you need is the money and a computer. I didn't get all the gear I wanted, but I got everything I needed, including the software. As I make more money, I bought the gear I wanted. Now that you have your home studio, you need to set everything up for recording. I wasted much time trying to figure this out. This next chapter gives you all my best hacks and steps without wasting time. Chapter 3. Plug and Play Recording Playbook. Imagine the noblest aim that you can conceptualize and then sacrifice your life to attempting to attain it. Jordan Peterson. I wasted much time sucking at using gear. Using gear is easy once you know how. I'll show you how I set up my space and record with the best settings. Here's my process step by step from setting up a mic to pressing record. 1. Place mic. 2. Plug in mic or instrument. 3. Soundproof. 4. Plug in audio interface and headphones. 5. Turn on computer. 6. Open DAW. 7. Add audio interface to DAW. 8. Create record track. 9. Assign mic to record track. 10. Arm record track. 11. Test mic. 12. Adjust levels to -12 decibels. 13. Set latency latency. 14. Troubleshoot. 15. Set metronome. 16. Press record. 17. Record. 18. Stop record. 19. Create new record track. 20. Repeat from step 8 as needed. 1. Place mic. Many people say to have different distances from a mic. This is what I do to get the right distance. Put your lips 5 to 6 inches, pinky and thumb stretched out, away from a studio mic and 1 to 3 inches away from a stage mic. Put the mic in the middle of your space away from stuff that will reflect sound, like walls. 2. Plug in mic or instrument. Your mic doesn't work if it's not plugged in. Duh. Seems obvious, right? I've wasted much time not getting my mic or instrument to work because I forgot to plug it in. Don't do that. 3. Soundproof. Soundproof in 2 ways: room and filtering. Cut background noise with room-proofing. Use 3 mattresses leaning together on each other's edge in a triangle with you and the mic in the middle. Or throw a blanket over you and the mic. Or put the mic in a closet full of clothes. These free ideas make background noise low and quiet. Dead quiet is what you want. If you want, get foam and carpet for the walls and floor. Record clean audio with filtering. Filter out sounds that distort or sound bad through a mic. These sounds are sibilances, such as pa, sa, ta, cha, tha sounds. Put a foot sock or something similar over your mic. Nylon leggings over a clothes hanger work well. The foam filter some mics come with is similar, or get a pop filter to do the same. Filter out air that your voice forces through a mic. Instruments don't usually need filtering. 4. Plug in audio interface in headphones. If you wonder why stuff isn't working, check if your cords are loose. Check at your computer and at your audio interface. Try switching computer ports. Some ports with a lightning bolt symbol are faster than others. Any USB computer port that's 3.0 and higher will work. Unplugging and plugging back in sometimes fixes issues. 5. Turn on computer. Plug in everything first before turning on the computer. This way avoids loud popping or feedback noise. 6. Open DAW. Most DAWs should open to a new project you can rename and save on your computer. If not, create and save a new DAW project file to save your work. Most DAWs have specific tutorials on the internet for this. 7. Add audio interface to DAW. In your DAW settings, assign your audio interface as the main audio input and output to hear and record. Apple Mac computers recognize your audio interface as an option you can select. Windows computers often need a driver installed, code that makes your interface usable. Download and install the driver for your interface. Find it from the website of the company that made your audio interface. You might have to close and reopen your DAW or restart your computer after installing. Your interface should now pop up as an option in your DAW. 8. Create record track. Some DAWs have tracks to record audio or MIDI. Use a record track for audio. Learn keyboard shortcuts to make this easy or learn how your DAW does this click by click. 9. Assign mic to record track. Your DAW should have an input setting for each track to assign your mic or instrument to. The audio you record will capture on the track you assign it to and save there. 10. ARM record track. Every record track should have an ARM button. Click it on to record this track when you press the record button. Tracks won't record if the ARM button is off. 11. Test mic. Check 1, 2. Make noise or play your instrument to get audio signal into your DAW. Look for the right volume and gain amount on your interface in DAW. Volume is a garden hose, and gain is the size of the hole. Volume turns sound up and down, loud and quiet. Gain makes more or less sound for your gear to work with. Volume is for your ears, gain is for your gear. The levels on your audio interface preamps should show gain. Your DAW levels on your record track should measure that gain in a visual way. 12. Adjust levels to -12 decibels. Play or sing your loudest. Adjust gain with the knob on your audio interface until the meter on your DAW record track peaks at -12 decibels. Some people use -6 dB or -3 dB. It's too much if you hear distortion. I like -12 dB. It gives me space to not be perfect and have more than enough room to edit and mix. Your record track meter should dance while you sing or play. If not, assign your mic and instrument to the right track. Arm your tracks. Unmute your tracks. Double check your gear setup. If none of that works, try the steps below. 13. Set latency. Sound usually travels in the order below: from the mic or plugged-in instrument, through the audio interface, in the DAW, out the DAW, back through the audio interface, into your headphones. The delay between what you record and what you hear back in your headphones is latency. A big enough delay is distracting to record with. Your DAW should have latency settings you can adjust if it's distracting. 14. Troubleshoot. Skip this step if everything works. If not, something might be preventing you from hearing yourself in your headphones. Computer memory, cache, driver error compensation, latency, buffer rate, anything else. Writing about each issue would make this book huge for each DAW out there. Boring. If your stuff doesn't work, try a different DAW or computer, or a computer restart or reset. Many forums and tutorials on the internet can help. 15. Set metronome. Use a metronome when recording. Your ability to play to a metronome is a good indicator of how competent you are as a musician or singer. If you can't play to a metronome, learn how to for free or at cost with the piano course at jonathonvogel.com/training. Most DAWs have a metronome feature you can set. Press record with 1 or 2 bars of metronome intro. This helps you get into position. 16. Press record. Your DAW record button usually looks like a red circle. Pressing record will cue the metronome intro and record right after. The DAW uses your mic or instrument to capture audio on any armed tracks. 17. Record. If the metronome isn't loud enough, you'll get off track. You can express yourself, but stay on beat. Also, record 10 takes for each part. Your sound will improve 10 times faster this way. You'll get the reps you need not to suck. Recording 10 takes also gives you options to work with when editing and mixing to get that perfect take. Often it takes about 10 takes before you warm up your vocals or instrument parts. Do a vocal or instrument warm up as well before recording. 18. Stop record. After recording, press the record button to stop. Some DAWs will have a keyboard shortcut like your spacebar for this. Some DAWs will have a dedicated stop record button that might look like a square shape. Test this out before recording. It might sound obvious, but don't forget to stop recording. I've ended up with long recordings that fill up my computer space. Don't do that. Your recording might play a few seconds off beat from the metronome when you play it back. This issue could be latency or driver error compensation. Your DAW should have help on the internet to fix this issue. Audio you record should stay synced to the metronome after recording. 19 and 20. Create new record track and repeat. Add a new record track and repeat from step 8. Your DAW should allow many tracks at once to record on top of your other tracks or multi-tracks to make a full song. Your first track might be your guitar. Your second might be piano, then drums and vocals. You can record each track on its own, but record listening to each new track you create. You can be your own band this way. It's the easiest way I've found to make ideas reality. I've created hundreds of multi-tracks before the gap in skill between my ideas and creating them got smaller. Don't get frustrated. This takes practice. I have to take all these steps every time I record. So do your favorite artists. They often get help though. Your favorite songs often have 100+ tracks. Starting out, 5 to 30 tracks can seem to be enough for a song recording for the first 100 or so projects. It's not about the number of tracks you have. It's about practicing your skills to create songs and record high-quality takes. Do both well and you'll have great demos regardless of the track count. Quick word on MIDI. MIDI, or Music Instrument Digital Interface, is a way to control sound with instruments. MIDI instruments connect to your computer and you assign it what sound to play. For example, a MIDI controller looks like a keyboard with knobs and faders, or an electric drum kit. You can play any sound or virtual instrument on your computer with your MIDI controller. Setting up MIDI is simple. 1. Create a MIDI track in your DAW. 2. Assign your MIDI controller as the input. 3. Add an instrument plugin to the MIDI track. 4. Arm the MIDI track for recording. 5. Play the instrument with your MIDI controller. 6. Hear it in your headphones. 7. Press record to capture what you play. My favorite virtual MIDI instruments as of this writing are below. excelenaudio.com for the best piano and drum sounds, addictive keys, and addictive drums. sundaysounds.com for synths and pads, works on Ableton and Mainstage. They also have an iPad app. spitfireaudio.com for strings like cello and violin, and some synths and pads. Ableton.com instrument library packs for bass, piano, pads, and synths. Beepstreet.com for their Sunriser synth. Most MIDI controllers need a MIDI to USB cable. Newer MIDI controllers use a USB input as an option. See the image. You'll have to discern what MIDI controller and cable will work with your computer ports. Now that you've recorded your song, it's time to make it into a song file you can post and promote. Hope you enjoyed the first chunk of First 100 Songs. I wanted to make this book absolutely free for everybody, regardless of whatever your financial means are. If you want to, the next chunk is going to be all about how I edit and mix songs with the whole production process using software and gear. I'll walk you through my whole processes and the differences between editing, mixing, and mastering, and how I do that in a really fast and effective way. This is how I actually released my first songs, and hopefully it can help you too. This has been First 100 Songs written by Jonathon Vogel. Read by Jonathon Vogel. Copyright 2024, jonathonvogel.com. Audio production copyright 2024, jonathonvogel.com.